Well, welcome. My name is Claire Bischoff. I am the research and sustainability lead for our Lilly Grant in the Initiative for Contemplative Discipleship. And Barb, would introduce yourself?
Certainly. I'm Barbara Staats, the pastoral administrator at St. Thomas the Apostle in Minneapolis, and also an alumnus of St. Kate's, so very dear to my heart, the entire program and the cohort in general.
Hmm, thank you. I didn't know that you were an
Oh, I'm a
alum.
Katie, yeah,
Okay. I
yeah.
love it. Yeah, kind of once a
Yeah,
Katie, always a Katie.
absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
So what I wanted to ask first today is like how is it feeling to have St. Thomas the Apostle committed to this 2-year program?
I love the metaphor that you've been using about we're flying the plane as we're building it
Hmm.
because it really fits. I think it took a while for us to fully understand what this was, what we were trying to accomplish, and the players that we needed to do that.
Mm.
And so I feel like, and that's okay. A lot of people are very uncomfortable with that type of a setup that you don't know exactly where you're going and exactly when you're going to get there. But it's lining up nicely now. So I feel pretty good about where we're going.
Good.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a model of working that we're not always used to living into, right? A lot of times things kind of come with a top-down directive, and this is a
absolutely.
different model of kind of a ground up sort of thing
Yeah, that's right.
that both has some discomfort associated with, but can also have some promise associated with it as well. You mentioned that there, like, part of it was identifying like the players to be
Yes,
involved. Can you say a little more about that?
I can. I actually put the word out probably 6 months before I was able to develop the two people that did finally come for the intensive part of the program.
Yeah, yeah.
And part of it felt a little bit like a sales, but only because they were like, well, what is it in the end that we're trying to accomplish?
Mhm.
But the two people that ended up fleshing out were people who were constantly asking, Barb, what are we doing in the community for outreach? Can
Mm.
we do more? Can we do, are there things that we're not seeing? Are there things where there are holes? And these two people consistently asked that question. So they were, they were kind of perfect, to reel in. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
and and they, when the time came to submit the names, they were like, okay, we're in. And so that in that sense, that was really a great way to identify those candidates because
Yeah.
they're the people who are always asking questions about more.
I know,
Yeah.
I love that. And what
Yeah.
I'm hearing as you're talking is sort of the model of like recognizing the gifts and the energies of the people in the community and saying, I'm going to call you forward a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's what it is.
Oh, that's so
Or
cool.
at least let me put it this way, that I would say that's probably my greatest gift is being
Hmm.
able to recognize in others where
Hmm.
they're being called and what they seem to be wanting to bring forth, right?
Hmm. I love that. It's such an important model of leadership.
Oh, yeah, I suppose it is, isn't
It
it?
is. Well, because there's so much, we know it's been such a hard time for churches with COVID, with so many other things that faith communities are dealing with. And the paid employees of churches can't do everything.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so how to invite people who might not see it in themselves, right? But for you to reflect it to them and say, and I see this in you,
Yes.
is really cool.
Yes. Good.
You also said it took a little bit of time to figure out what this program was going to be for your community. Do you feel like you're coming to some greater clarity? I mean, not that you're all the way there yet, but like
Yes, and part of that, the retreat was a
Mhm.
big help in facilitating that conversation. The other thing that is helpful is when you have a pastoral council already in place
Mm,
and they're used to pastoral planning, there's
mm.
no sense in reinventing that um, apparatus. So you can swim with the stream. These two people actually were also members of the pastoral council. And so when it comes to fleshing out the needs in the community, it's already naturally there.
So using the structure that's already in place and working
Right.
within that.
That's right. I mean,
Yeah.
that's our plan is to work with that so that we can choose our topic, even though we have been on a very informal basis talking about some topics, but it was
Yeah.
really within the confines of the retreat when we went to the retreat.
Hmm.
But we knew the subject was much too large and much too deep to not have a large conversation um, with the kind of people who can think those things through.
Hmm.
Those are the kind of people you pick for your pastoral council, are
Yeah.
people who are, big picture thinkers. So
Yeah.
that's the hope is that we can pick a Saturday morning and come with some refreshments and just flesh out what would be our direction. Yeah.
Hmm. Good. So just to like kind of reiterate, it sounds like coming to the August 14th event, like there were some ideas that were sort of percolating up for people in
Sure.
terms of needs in the community, but now to kind of more formalize the process to gather the pastoral council together with the task of really discerning what might be a topic that we're going to focus on to pull the whole parish community together
Right.
for an event.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct. Um, I already have gotten a couple of emails, one from one of our participants who said that we're seeing a lot of the new Afghan immigrants in our
Mm,
neighborhood, and
mm,
that perhaps there's a way we can engage with that community to identify some of their greatest needs. So
mm.
they're already, I mean, that's a pretty big possibility. If
Yeah,
they decide to move in that direction, it will be an interesting conversation. So, but
yeah.
it is something that you could pull together in a large group
Hmm.
and have members of the Afghan community
Yeah,
talk about their experience and what their journey has been like and
yeah.
also what the greatest needs are.
And that to me is also a really fascinating and I think really helpful model of that this parish event doesn't necessarily have to be about like an expert from within the parish presenting
Oh,
something,
yeah.
but it can be a model of listening to people in the community and hearing what they need. That sounds really
I
exciting.
think that's what we're hoping. I
Yeah.
think that we're very involved with Simpson Housing,
Hmm.
and have been for a number of years, and that is a program that helps with transitional housing and the homeless, and then some housing setup. Uh, but it's mostly a financial commitment on our part. There are some volunteers involved with that, but somebody identified the Afghan community as this is brand new, happening right now,
Hmm.
and it might be micro enough in our community where we're not trying to tackle too much.
Right. Yeah, that right. We aren't going to say like save the world with this
Right,
project, but is there
right, right.
something we can bite off
That's
that is
it.
managed that we can make some kind of appreciable difference with?
Right, right. As opposed to we're going to tackle climate change or we're
Yeah.
going to, immigration as a whole. They're just too big. And so
Right.
you can identify people that are walking around Lake Harriet already who
Yeah.
are new immigrants to this country, and
Mm-hmm.
frankly are refugees or were refugees. And
Yeah.
so
Yep.
even more um, of a need. So it was great that he already identified something.
Yeah.
That, okay, this could be a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
And another thing I love about that is that, um, like, you're not plucking something out of thin air and being like, we're going to focus on this. It's looking
yeah.
at what's going on in the community, and something as seemingly simple as we're seeing some new people walking around Lake Harriet
Yes,
that we haven't seen before, and what are their experiences, and how might we be able to journey with them,
pretty hands-on, right?
right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Seeing what the needs of the community are right now, and how your community can listen to that and then respond.
Yes, I was impressed with that.
That's really cool. Well,
Yeah,
thank you so much for taking the time
you're
to talk with
welcome.
me. And it's very exciting for me to hear what's going on at St. Thomas the Apostle.
Glad to help. Thanks for everything.
Thanks, Barb.
Okay.